have.
Yuri Higgins. I'm the assistant principal at King High School.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about how you, as an administrator, deal with time in your everyday duties, being at the school that you're at. And I remember you said that you all have a little bit of student conduct issues. Is that correct?
Well, every school has student conduct, but yes, we do have about 10% of our population that has some issues
Whoa.
that they either receive some type of consequence throughout the year.
Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. That's going to be very important for our fellow administrators as they're dealing with tonight's activities. So, first of all, how do you manage your time on a regular day? What does a day in the life of you look like?
Of Mr. Higgins. Okay.
Right.
So when I wake up, I get to work around about 6:45 a.m. I have morning duty, usually in front of the school. I stay there till about 7:30. School starts at 7:40. So my first period, I usually am working on my referrals. I deal with discipline mostly in my job. So that's first period. I'm always calling in kids, trying to handle those and trying to get them back on the right track. But at the same time, still holding them accountable for the things that they do inside class. Second period, I'm usually dealing with electronics violations, tardies, that type of thing. And then we go to homeroom. I'm just roaming the campus then. Third and fourth period is like my floater periods where I want to be inside classrooms as much as possible. Fifth period, I have lunch duty. So my whole fifth period is taken with lunch duty. And then sixth and seventh period is like a refresher of the first and second period just to make sure all my referrals are cleared and things like that. And then at the end of the day, I go to bus duty. And then I do it back over again every day.
Wow, sounds like you've got a pretty full day there. And how do you keep up? How do you know what comes first? What happens to just get moved up to the top of your schedule?
Well, I usually plan out my day a week ahead. I usually do a week ahead of time.
Whoa.
But after school, when I'm done with buses, I make sure I always prep for the next day. So I look at my referrals, I look at anything that needs to happen the next day, and I see what's the...
Alrighty, we had a small error in the studio, but we're back. So we were talking about what your day looks like and what kind of duties could come up that could possibly, throw your day off schedule. Tell us a little bit about that.
Like I told y'all earlier, morning duty, afternoon duties, that's just already set in stone. The lunch duties is set as well. Now, some things that come about are meetings, like RTI, MTSS meetings, just schedule observations and things like that. That can kind of change up my schedule a lot. Parents coming in, wanting to talk to you right then and there.
And what do you do in those situations?
I am the type of person, if I see that it's an emergency, I'll talk to them. But other than that, I try to be professional and tell them that we need to set a scheduled time to meet so that I can honor my schedule.
Whoa. So in the chapter, it talked about defending your time. So do you believe, is that an example of you defending your time?
Definitely. You have to, because you only get paid from 7 to 3 o'clock. And in the job of education, it does take more time than that time in there. So when you have a schedule set in stone, you should follow it as much as possible to the T.
Okay, all right. And I know administrators are responsible for walkthroughs and observations. How do you, plan those out and schedule those?
Well, usually I get around about 5 formal observations a week.
Whoa, 5.
Let me stop. I get about 5 observations total a week. And those are usually informal observations. And then I get 2 formal observations every 2 weeks. Now, I usually email the teachers ahead of time to try to schedule out my formals. But informals, I try to fit it in those periods where I notice that I have more free time. So I make sure I handle my first and second period referrals and things like that, and then I start just jumping into classrooms, knocking out informals, because you don't have to let the teacher know about informal observations.
Yeah, I had one of those today. Well, let's so overall, if you had to say what was the most important thing in your day, the your top priority when you walk on campus, you say, "Hey, bam, I'm here. This is what I'm here for." What is that top priority, Mr. Higgins?
Well, with myself, culture is my main focus. I feel like if you have a great culture at your school, um, in that positive culture, everything around it will blossom. So if teachers are happy, if students are happy, usually um, everybody's learning, everybody's happy. Things are happening where you have less issues and things like that. Um, so I'm the person who does the pep rallies. I'm the MC, so I'm always trying to pump everybody up. I'm the one in the hallways screaming at kids, saying, "Let's go, be positive, let's go. You can do it. You can do great on your test today." So that's that encouraging feel. I try to always bring every day to the job. So that's my big priority, is to make sure I keep cultivating a positive culture at King High School.
Wow, and that's so important that we get that and that we do that too. Do you have any final words? Any final words of advice to those aspiring administrators out there?
I would say be passionate in what you do. Um, just be passionate and always continue working hard on moving kids in a positive direction. Um, do whatever it takes. If you have to go do home visits, I spend a lot of time outside of my 7 to 3 clock time trying to change students' motivation and try to get them to the next level of college or career oriented for the future. So be passionate. That's the main thing I want to say.
Well, great having you. Thank you for your time and dedication to the kids here in Hillsborough County. I'm sure you're doing a great job. But thanks for joining us here at ED News, and we'll check you later. Bye-bye.